So we're going to look at creating some equations for horizontal and vertical lines, or how we come up with those equations in today's lesson. And first thing that we're going to look at is just picking out a few points on a line and seeing what we can find in common between those coordinates. So for example, this point here, this would have the coordinate 1, 1. If I pick another point on the same vertical line, this point here has the coordinate 1, 3. Further down here, I've got the coordinate 1, negative 2. So I can see if I go up and down that line, what all the points have in common is that this x value is 1. So in this vertical line, should really be using a ruler to draw this, and should be using a pen, but actually works. But this vertical line going down here, we would call x equals 1, because every point on this vertical line has the same x coordinate. So we can describe the graph by saying that any point on this line, the x value is 1, x is equal to 1, and any point not on the line, x isn't equal to 1 there. We can also look at it being the case for this point here. So when it goes through the axis, it goes through the x-axis at 1, because x is equal to 1 there. It's the coordinate 1, 0. Okay, so the y value is 0, but the x value is 1. Similarly, if we look at horizontal lines, so I pick any point, let's have a look at this line going across here. So this coordinate is negative 3, 2, so minus 3 across, 2 up. This coordinate is 3, 2, 3 across, 2 up. This coordinate is 1, 2. This coordinate is 0, 2. So what we can see is that all of those coordinates, what they have in common is that they have the same y value. So for all of those points, y is equal to 2. And that would be what we call the equation of that line, because every point on the horizontal graph has the same y coordinate. Okay, and that y coordinate is how we define that line. Any point where y is equal to 2 is on that line. Okay, we can do the same for another line, say this line going across here. So any point on the line would have an x coordinate of how far across it's going, so that's negative 3, but a y coordinate of negative 1, because it's 1 down. Okay, same with this point, an x coordinate of 1 this time, but a y coordinate negative 1. This point has the coordinate 4, negative 1, so every point on the line, y is equal to negative 1. Okay, and that is how we would label that graph. So it goes through the y-axis at negative 1, because, well, at that point we've gone none across and negative 1 down. So y is equal to negative 1 on that line. Okay, we can use that now to plot some lines and recognize the equations of horizontal and vertical lines, and that is going to be really useful when we're trying to do reflections, because a lot of the time we're not given a mirror line just to go off. We are given the equation of a line, and we have to recognize where to draw the equation of that line, or if we're given a reflection, we have to be able to draw the line and identify what the equation of that line is. So we would say, for instance, oh, this is a reflection in the line y equals 2, or in the line x equals 4. We wouldn't just be able to say it's a reflection in that line I drew there. Okay, so if I want to draw the line y equals 2, so I'm going to do this in this sort of turquoisey colour. So I'm looking for values where y is equal to 2. Well, this is one of them, right? If I go 2 up, I get y is equal to 2 from the origin. I could also go 2 across and 2 up, y is equal to 2 there, or y is equal to 2 here. And drawing just a few of those points gives me the indication that it's a horizontal line going across like that. Okay, if I want to draw my next line, so let's do this in my brown pen, so x is equal to 4. Now I want to look for coordinates where the x value is equal to 4. Well, the most obvious one is on the x-axis, going 4 across. I could also go 4 across and 4 up. X is still equal to 4 there. I've still moved 4 across initially. Or I could have a point down here. Any point where I've moved 4 across, the x coordinate is equal to 4. So this line down here would be where x is equal to 4. And finally, y is equal to 0. So now I'm looking for, I don't want to go up at all if I want y to be equal to 0. So y would be equal to 0 there. X is also equal to 0 at the origin. But also y would be 0 if I went 2 across, but none up or down. Y is still 0. If I went 4 to the left, so to x being negative 4, but y is still 0 because I've not moved up or down. Okay, so y equals 0 is actually the same as the x-axis. Okay, that line is the line y is equal to 0. Okay, and actually we can think about what the y-axis would be in a similar way. I'm not going to tell you what that is. I'm going to let you have a think about that yourself. What you think the other name for the y-axis would be, or the equation for the y-axis, should I say. Okay, final thing that I want us to do is look at the equations of these lines. So let's start off with this red line here. And I'm trying to think, what I could try and remember, is it horizontal that's x equals or vertical that's x equals? What I'm going to do is just pick out a couple of coordinates. Okay, and the most obvious one is usually the one on the axis to pick out. So this coordinate is 3 across, 0 up or down, so it's the coordinate 3, 0. And I can probably, because I know that it's not the 0 that's staying the same because the line moves up or down, it's that the x value is always 3. So I can get the equation straight from that. I can check on a couple of other points. So that's the coordinate 3, 4. That's the coordinate 3, negative 4. So I can see for each of those points, x is equal to 3. If I have a look at this green line instead, so again, pick out the coordinate on the axis. Well, this time we've got 0, negative 2. And that x coordinate is going to change as we move across. So it's not the 0 that stays the same, it's that y is always going to be equal to negative 2. So this line is the line y equals negative 2. And I can check that on a couple of points. This here is negative 3, negative 2. This coordinate is negative 2, 2. For any coordinate on that line, I can see that the y value is always negative 2. So that's the line y equals negative 2. The final one, this purple one, I just put on to remind us that our coordinate values and equations don't always have nice integers or whole numbers that we use. So this goes through the axis at the coordinate. So the x coordinate is minus 1.5, the y coordinate is 0. Okay, we know it's going to be x equals something because the y value is changing as it moves up or down. So it's x equals minus 1.5. So it doesn't matter that it's not a whole number. It doesn't have to be a nice whole number. It can be any number we want. And now what we should be able to do with this knowledge is look at equations or look at questions rather where we're asked to reflect shapes in equations of horizontal and vertical lines, be able to draw those lines on and do those reflections. Okay, so have a go at the task that I've set on that and let me know how you get on. Thank you.